Hello chaps, how are you all doing? It's time for build update number 5. Yeah, build update number 5. If you remember in build update number 4 I got the camo done. So in this one I've to do the detail painting, the decals, and basically getting them to start doing the weathering. So hopefully, we should have it nearly boxed off in this video. Nothing more to say than just do it, John, do it. Right, as I said, in 4 we got the camo done, and here I'm after doing the detail painting. Okay, so what detail painting am I after doing? I'm after doing the tracks that are on the vehicle itself. Okay, I'm even after giving them a little bit of silvering. Now I'm going to go over that, okay, with the rust wash, which is why I did the silvering now, because I want the kind of the silvering to show through, but yet have sort of the rusting over it, because these are just, because they're going to be left static and they're not being churned up and gone over roads and things like that, the rust will build up on them. Okay, same here with the sides. Okay, they will get a little bit rusted over, but they're still, rub of oil and they'll work away again. I'm after doing the helmets, the tools here on the back. Okay, we have another one back here. I'm after putting that keep forgetting the name of the bloody stuff again. Typical of me, I always seem to forget what I'm doing. I'll get back to that in 2 seconds. I did the jerry cans in German grey, as well as the helmets. The helmets are done in German grey. I have the shovel, the wire snippers, big spanner. I've done the aerial, and I've done the tow cable. Okay. Typhus Corrosion is the name of this stuff here. It's a Citadel paint, but it's kind of they call it a technical paint because it's got it's not just a paint, it's got a kind of a grit in it. Now if I can zoom into that and get light enough as well, that's going to be the hard bit, to get in the light there. Okay, you can kind of make it out from that. Okay, it's already starting to look like pretty weathered metal, and I'm going to give that a bit of a rust wash, and that's going to make that look lovely, absolutely lovely indeed. But before I do, I want to give the whole thing a wash before I use the any washes on it. Okay, I want to give it a black wash. The black wash I use is just an ordinary an acrylic black wash. It's not an enamel wash, it's just an ordinary acrylic wash. I made it light enough so I can go on in various layers, if you know what I mean. So if I can give the first layer, if it's not dark enough or it's not getting into the places, I can go over it again, and rather than starting off with a really dark wash and then saying, oh god, I want to lighten it off. Made just mistakes that I've made in the past. I've made a wash and it was pretty damn dark, and I had to try and lighten it off. Also, what I've done, somebody pointed out to me, the Nordis, okay, pointed out to me that the return rollers on this vehicle didn't have rubber, and they'd have been sort of silvered off a bit from the rubbing of the steel roller against the track. So thank you for that, Nordis. I'm after changing that. I'm after painting off the black rubber and putting on the silver on those. And I'm also after doing the tracks. Okay, I'm after giving the tracks their base coat. Okay, what I use for the base coat on the tracks is I used this. Yep, XF84 dark iron. I love that as a base colour for tracks. It's just a nice dark metal. Okay. And from there then I'll go over that with my aluminium paint again and do all the guide horns and a little bit of a sort of a dry brushing with the silver, see, on the center pieces here where they've rubbed off the wheels and off the return rollers and things. Okay, so that's the tracks, and then they're going to get a rust wash. I don't want them too rusty, because they wouldn't be getting too rusty, especially it depends on the terrain, and you know how long it's been sitting and things like that. So if it's been gone over kind of a rocky-ish terrain, or even on roads and things like that, the tracks wouldn't be rusty. Okay, they wouldn't have got time to get rusty, but they'd have a rust look. Does that make sense? They wouldn't have sort of rusted over, but the metal would have gone that rusty colour from being just from being used and God knows what else. So the next step now, what I'm going to do this evening, hopefully, is I'm going to put on the decals, and that's only a couple of little decals to go onto it. I like to put a bit decals on at this stage, so they can be weathered after. Sometimes I like to kind of scratch up the decals a bit. We'll see where they go, see where am I going to scratch them up a bit. I'm going to put the silver onto the guide horns here on the track, and hopefully then give it a sort of a wash, nice black wash. So we'll see how things go, and tomorrow then I'll do my other little video and we'll show you what I've gotten done. Or sorry, the other part of this video, and I will show you, what I've gotten done this evening. So stay tuned. In a few seconds now you'll see what I've done tonight. So I'll catch you in a few minutes. Right, so here we are back down again, and last night I did exactly like I said I was going to get done. I got the decals on. Okay, I got a black wash done to it, and I got the nice bit of dust and dirt, basically. It's got a dirty looking. I mean, they're not going to be, it's been trumping over fields and God knows what else, so it's not going to be lovely and clean like your, like your home car. It's used and abused, shall we say, used and abused. So it's nicely dirtied up. I'm happy with that. Okay, also got the tracks. I got the guide horns silvered up a bit, and I also did a little bit of dry brushing-y type stuff on the inside where the metal parts, and where they'd been constantly rubbing off the metal, so that would have shined up that. Okay, so next step now for these is to give them the rust wash, to get that rust colour into them. Like I said, I don't want it to be too heavy on the tracks. I don't want it to be rusted up, which is why I didn't use the Typhus Corrosion on the tracks. Okay, if they were going to be just left there, I'd use a bit of Typhus Corrosion on them. I'm going to put a small bit of the Typhus Corrosion on these ones. Okay, on the tracks that are static, they're not being moved. So it's going to be a small little bit of that. So it's going to be kind of a little bit of rust build up on them. But not too much. Okay, and I'm going to do the rust wash on the exhaust section as well. Okay, so we're going to get that done. Once that's done, then it's basically it's as good as finished. I got the wash done on the wheels as well. Okay, got all the wash nicely done on the wheels, so the different panels and sections and all that kind of stuff is done on those. So the next step now, like I said, is get the wash done on the tracks, then get the tracks fitted once they're dry. I normally wait until they're totally dry before I go putting it on, because I don't want the rust to kind of get on anywhere else, that rust wash to get it in other areas. It's hard to clean off afterwards, especially if you use sort of pigments to make your wash. Once they rub off onto something, they're much harder to get rid of. When that's all then assembled, shall we say, before I go putting on the Sturmpanzer plates, that's when I'll do my a bit of chipping, and a bit of dry brushing on the nuts and bolts and things, any protrusions that are on it, a bit of dry brushing on them just to emphasize them a little bit more. And with the chipping and everything else, then I'll have our tracks on, and that's basically it then. There's nothing really more to do after that. Just fit our figures in, and hey presto, job done, job oxo, as the boy says. So I'll get on with that now this evening. I'll get the rust onto the tracks, so they should be nice and dry then by tomorrow, and I can fit the tracks on that. And I will do a bit of the chipping and bit of dry brushing on that. So I'm happy with how the colours came out. I do like the way the wash has it's dirtied it up. Okay, so it's got little dirt patches and things. It's not an all even colour, if you know what I mean. It's going to get dirtier in some areas than others, and we can do more work on that in the dry brushing stage. Little areas that have a bit more traffic than other areas, you know, around by hatches and things, they're going to have a little bit more traffic than, say, an area here along the front. You know, there's going to be nobody walking or dragging mud and dirt and scraping paint off up around the front of it, whereas at the back of it, where people seem to get up and get in from the back, that's going to be a bit more worn. Okay, so that's basically it. I'll get ahead with those this evening, and in the next clip then, which will be tomorrow, we should nearly be as good as finished. Hopefully. You'll never know. It might not. I might have another couple of bits and pieces to do, but I should have it basically boxed off by then. It should be all over bar the shouting. So, next clip coming up. Right, so just before we have a look at it, in the last clip you'll notice that I had everything ready. I had given its wash. Also, all I got to do was do a bit of final finishing and get it all assembled. So I've gone ahead, I've done that, I've got it all assembled. Give it its final bits of dry brushing, bits of weathering. I used some sandy pigments, some mud pigments. Just finished it off. Simple as that. You know, all the little bits and pieces, you do a little bit of mostly dry brushing. Using the pigments, manipulating them in different areas and things, and just enhancing some of the washes in some of the panel lines and things like that. So let's get on, we'll have a look at it, and you can let me know what you think. Okay. Right, so there it is, all finished up. I just took it on an old base that I had around. So don't go asking really about the base. It's all it is just a bit of das clay and some grass and a couple of rocks. Simple as that. Nice simple little display base. You can throw them together in a couple of hours. That's including drying time and everything else. So have to excuse me. I've definitely got a bad cough and it's tearing the throat off me. So I won't be saying too much. Good news, says John. We're all happy about that. So I got it all assembled up, and here's the final reveal of it. Quite happy with it, I really am. We can just sort of lift it up so we can have a kind of closer look at different parts of it. I'll have to move the camera in a bit there to get the light, because the light won't stretch over, unfortunately. But I was happy with the figures. Okay. The cute few little battle damage nicks and dings that I've put into it, I'm happy with those. To be quite honest with you, there's nothing in it that I'm not happy with. The fit was beautiful, so it was a fabulously fitting kit. The painting went okay. All the weathering was grand, and the final fit then, when it all went together again, I ended up with a sweet little piece indeed, and really, really happy, chuffed as I say, with the final result. So here we go. There it is. It's the TAMIYA's 1/35th scale Brummbar. Okay, grizzly bear. There we go. That's what it is. So there she is, lads, in all its glory. There we go. Try and get it all into shot. and it was a very, very enjoyable build. Okay, so I leave it at that, lads. I'll catch you soon. I'll be doing an unboxing at some stage later on, because excuse me, when I finish one I go straight in and I start another one. Sure, why not? Why take a big break? And I'm doing a beautiful kit next. You'll find out when the unboxing goes up, because once the unboxing goes up, that means I'm starting. Okay, so there we go. That's the Brummbar. Don't forget to like and give it a like if you like it. Hit the old thumbs up. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. Simple as that. But I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe, and out in the meantime, go out and buy yourself a kit, build it, and enjoy it. This is John signing off, and I'll catch you on the next one.